Ooh. Ooh.
I've never seen a ghoul need to shuffle their chair across before. Usually they glide across. Most ghouls go like, ooh, you're like, Wow, look at you.
I'm so scary right now.
Oh my goodness. What is going on there? May I
Oh,
add before we get started, this is the funniest part of it.
yes,
Wednesday
please.
night right now. Halloween was like 2 nights ago.
I had to get it in somewhere, and tonight was inevitably going to be Halloween. So if any night, it was going to be night tonight.
Well, look at you. This is great. I love this.
My kryptonite is Pepsi Max. So sorry. All right. Well. Hello and good evening to all of our viewers and friends. Welcome to the spooky little podcast that is Up Late with Glenn and Chloe. We are a wonderful little spin-off of the Good Movie Monday podcast, which you can find on any streaming platform, especially Newsly. We come here every Wednesday to talk about movie news and have fun with some games.
Wouldn't have that scripted on the side there, would you?
No. No.
I love it. I love it. You look great as a ghoul.
I know. I've been told that before.
Should just do it every week.
Especially when I wake up hungover is when I look especially ghouly. So yes, I'm getting in my Halloween makeup tutorial, and I thought, what a great excuse.
Fantastic. And
not going to be distracting at all.
It's the perfect week for it because on Monday the Good Movie Monday podcast was a Halloween special, so we spoke at length about Halloween movies. So you're just carrying on with the theme there. Love it.
Can't let it die. I can't let it die.
Dedication for someone that does not like horror movies. That's dedication.
That's true. Tell me, what horror movies have you watched this week? I'm sure you would have watched some for Halloween. And
I have. Well, the fact that we did a Halloween show meant that I had to sort of top up on some Halloween films to talk about. But the funny thing is, I'm watching Halloween movies, going, you know what? Because we recommend two movies per episode. So I'm like, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do that one. Sit down to watch them. First one, not as good as I remember. So okay, that one's out. Then I put the next one on. This one's a surefire hit. No, not as good as I remember. I'm like, I'm wasting time here. But
don't you hate it when that happens?
I mean, these are still good movies, but hardly recommendations. You know what I mean? So I watched a great one that I actually think you would get some value out of. It's called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which is I want to say family friendly horror film, but it's not quite family friendly. It's more of a PG horror film, very much the Amblin style of movie from the 80s, the Steven Spielberg kind of thing, set in the 60s.
I feel like I've heard you talk about that one before, actually.
It's set in the 60s, and it's about a bunch of kids that discover a book that reads them as opposed to them reading it, and it writes their future, and each of their futures is death, and it's death by urban legend, right? So
wow, creepy.
You actually, I say that I think you would like this. Having said that, one of those segments you would not like at all. It may have, growing inside.
How did I guess that?
Growing inside a cheek and then.
Oh.
But it's a fantastic Halloween film because it's fun. Like, it's just really fun. It's very scary, but it's fun. So.
It's fun type of scary. Okay.
Yeah. So I watched that one. What else did I watch? One called Revealer, which I talked about on the show, which is sort of a new Shudder one that's on Amazon Prime. It's on Shudder, but I think you get Shudder through Amazon Prime, and it's essentially set in a strip club, and it's a peep show dancer that's stuck in her. That's what Ben said, and she was stuck inside her peep show cubicle when like a monster invasion happens outside, right? And you don't know who the monsters are or what they are, but you just know it's happening. and then she finds that the only other person trapped inside this establishment is like a real far right conservative Christian who's previously on the outside protesting, and she just, to escape the
Oh,
monsters, she goes inside. So then you got these two opposite personalities that have to band together to overcome the situation, and it's quite fun. I like it a lot.
wow, that sounds actually really interesting.
Yeah, and it's not horror in that there's not a lot of blood and gore. It's just that it's a situational kind of horror, and you don't really see the monsters aside from maybe some tentacles trying to get through the door, and they slam them and all that. But yeah, it's fun and it's colorful and it's very Halloweeny.
Very Halloweeny, it seems.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Very, very nice. Oh, and you've got a mug to match the to theme as well. I love it.
Second mug already on the show. I went from the first to the second really quickly.
Did you?
Hey, what would an episode be without me hitting the timer? So how far in do you reckon we are?
I reckon a good 5 minutes at least.
All right, so I'll just hit record, and at 25 past, we'll consider it about done.
Around about there. Hey, did you hear that Shelley Duvall is coming back for a new horror movie?
Yeah, I did. This is interesting because she's been in retirement for 20 years at least. What was the last movie she made was one I think called Manna from Heaven, which was more of a straight to video kind of drama.
Yeah, that sounds
Um,
about right.
she's I mean, she's not a mentally stable person. Like the reason she was sort of retired or whatever you want to call it is simply because she's lost her marbles a little bit. But it's
I
great to have her
mean,
back.
listening to her experiences, filming The Shining, I'd probably have mental issues as well. But what I'm excited at is that it's with Eddie Furlong as well. So that
Yeah, but another off the rails actor that
yeah, but what actor isn't? You
I just
name me an actor that's not some sort of mentally ill or mentally
no,
unstable.
I know.
You
Well,
have to be an artist like that.
exactly. They say that you do have to be, but Edward Furlong is a really tricky one because he's not the same kind of off the rails. He's yeah, I don't want to get into it because my personal opinions will probably offend some people, so I won't. But
Oh, I had
he's a
such a
bit of
huge crush on him.
yeah. I mean, he's a bit of a loser these days, but yeah, no, I mean, he was all the rage back then because obviously you'd love him in Terminator 2, but Pet Cemetery 2, that was the one for me that he was cool as fuck in that. Like,
He was just cool as a kid to me. I think he was just portrayed in even if the character wasn't supposed to be cool, he portrayed them cool. He was kind of like a oh, this sounds gonna sound really mean. He's like a less good River Phoenix
yeah, well,
type thing where he could just make it cool,
what annoys me about him and people like him, right? Because he's quite often on podcasts or vodcasts or whatever TV shows talking about how his career has gone to shit, right? But if he wants to get back into the game the way he says he does, sort your shit out. Get yourself healthy again, you know? I mean, he's fat, he's podgy, he's not the best looking guy. At one point in time, he lost all his teeth from drugs and recently had fake ones put in. But if you want this career so badly, sort your shit out.
Work for it. Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree.
There's where my issues are with people like him is that he likes to complain about what he hasn't got, but he doesn't fight for what he wants,
I think a lot of people with notoriety seem to think that eventually they don't have to work for their passion. They just kind of are given it on a silver spoon, which is kind of frustrating because a lot of people who are really serious about their craft really work hard at it and stick to it. And I think it's just an insult to them. So yeah, if that's truly the way that he's behaving, it is quite insulting.
I think if he got himself fit and got himself sort of, I wouldn't say you have to be slim to be an actor, but I think if he sort of shed a few pounds just to get his health back, I think he has every opportunity to get back into the game. It'd be a revival, like a resurgence kind of thing that so many actors have done in the past. But he needs a Tarantino to say, hey, I'm going to cast that guy that used to be someone all those years ago and put him back on the map.
I don't even think it's about losing anything. It's more about just dedicating yourself again and falling in love with the craft and the passion and why you did it in the first place again.
Yeah.
I think that's what really kind of shines through. I mean, you could you could be Steve Buscemi, you know, not the greatest looking guy in the entire world, but he's a dedicated man, you know, and he works hard for it. So that's all that needs to show. And if he's not showing that, then that's his downfalls, apart from, you know, heavy drug use. That's not really going to help you. But
no, that's right.
yeah.
But anyway, so that, I mean, that brings us right back to Shelley Duvall's coming back. So
Yeah, so it should be good. Called Forest Hills. It's a werewolf movie, I think. So it should be.
I'll guarantee you it's going to be just the flash in the pan, straight to streaming affair. It's not going to be anything flash.
Well, the director has only really done documentaries, so I'd be interested to see if this is like made like Blair Witch style, though.
It's the kind of movie. I mean, if you've got Edward Furlong as a headliner in your movie, it's not going to be a good movie. Let's just put that out there, because the last 15 years has proven that to be the case. And yet these movies bank on them as, you know, bankable stars, and they're going to do the same with Shelley Duvall. They're going to exploit her name and say, hey, we're the first movie to have her in 20 years. You got to watch this. And yeah, it'll just be something pretty average and shit. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I mean, you could be completely right, and you probably are completely right. I hope for, I don't know, her sake that she can go out on a bang, but who knows?
What else have I got here? Did you read that Jeff Goldblum is is likely to be playing the Wizard of Oz in the Wicked movie?
No.
So,
really? Okay.
The last I read was earlier today, and it was as good as done, the deal on that one. So I'm guessing sort of within a week or so we'll probably have that as a confirmation. But yeah, so I don't like the idea of him playing the Wizard of Oz, to be honest with you. But I mean, I can see him in the role, but hey, I don't particularly like Wicked, so it doesn't bother me either.
I'm struggling to see him in the role, but you know, it's Jeff Goldblum. He could prove us wrong. So yeah, who knows?
I mean, it's very hard as well when you've got these established characters that you know from, like, the Wizard of Oz. You know it from the 1939 movie, right? This old guy with cherub cheeks and a button nose, and you know, he just doesn't have the characteristics, the features for that. I mean, you can prosthetic it up and all that kind of stuff, but he also doesn't know how to act any other way. Like, have you ever seen Jeff Goldblum not be Jeff Goldblum?
Right. See, that's where my kind of issues are focusing upon. Like, you know, it's Jeff. You can't really sort of distinguish him from another person. So yeah, that's where
it's who? It's who?
as well.
Who is it?
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Who did I say? My name's Jeff. Greatest line in a movie ever. Ever. You cannot tell me otherwise.
That's great.
Oh God. Anyway, moving on. I just wanted to touch base on Leslie Jordan. Made me very, very sad. You did say that there was going to be another death, and this is what's happened, and I'm disappointed in you. He was much beloved, and he made me laugh, and I'm really sad to see his passing. But we're going to move straight past that because I don't like being sad. So I know I have to bring him into every episode. It's just going to have to happen. And if there's an episode without Justin Long in it, it's not going to be an episode of
Are you talking Dodgeball?
Yeah. So I knew about this for ages and ages ago because he talked about it on his podcast with Vince Vaughn. And Vince Vaughn is the one that wrote the script for the second. And you know me, I'm not up for sequels. You know me, I'm very, very wary. And so is Ben Stiller. However, it's written by Vince Vaughn. So I'm kind of on board with it.
But I mean, what
I don't want it to happen
in all of this, like, as I was sort of reading up on it too, and I'd love you to sort of elaborate on it a little bit, but what the fuck does Ben Stiller have to do with this? Because that's what I was trying to figure out. Like,
he plays White Goodman. He's one of the main characters.
I know that, but like, who cares what he has to say about this?
Well, I mean,
still make Dodgeball without him.
No, you can't. No. Have you seen Dodgeball?
Many times. Many times.
You cannot make Dodgeball without Ben Stiller.
I beg to differ. But
if they made Dodgeball without Ben Stiller, I would travel to LA. I would hunt down Vince Vaughn and Justin Long and be the fuck.
What would happen? What would happen if they made Dodgeball without Ben Stiller? You saw it hesitantly, reluctantly, whatever. Came out of it and went, fuck, that was hilarious.
It would be funny. but it wouldn't be Dodgeball without him.
Okay. I would argue the opposite.
This is what I mean. This is what I mean. If you're going to go for a sequel, it's got to be a proper sequel.
Yeah.
You can't just be
But
flip-flopping around without these characters.
A sequel does not necessarily have to do with the characters. It has to do with the storyline, right? So you could easily make another movie with, so long as I'd say Vince Vaughn is in it, that's all you would need. The rest, they're interchangeable. You could do a new cast of characters. The storyline could be going up against somebody else that's not Ben Stiller.
Yes. We are never going to agree on this.
Fine. It's funny because
Ben Stiller is like 50% of the reason that movie was so funny. So without Ben Stiller, I just don't feel like it would be a Dodgeball movie. I just feel like it would be a movie.
I don't disagree, but what if there was a new character that came into the storyline played by, say, John C. Reilly or someone like that? That'd be amazing. I would rather watch him. I would rather watch him than Ben Stiller. Like,
okay,
Ben Stiller's highly overrated when he's not directing. Let's put it that way.
I mean, he could be highly overrated or not highly overrated, but to me and to, I feel like a lot of Dodgeball fans, he's an integral part of that.
Of the first one, he's integral to the first one for sure.
You see this?
Yeah, I see that.
See the other guy.
All right. Yeah, right. I don't know if you can see. You can't see. Behind, like where I'm pointed to right now, it's an entire mural to Part 2 sequels, and many of them have proven that you don't necessarily.
I know. You're the sequel queen. Okay. You're the sequel queen. However, we're going to have to agree to disagree on this one because it's to me it would be integral to have.
Look, I'm more than happy to disagree with you. I like to
don't be too happy about it.
Right? I like to nurture this conversation simply because do you realize what the fuck we're arguing over? Right? It doesn't matter one way or the other. Who gives a fuck if they do or don't make a Dodgeball sequel?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. But to my childhood self, it's important, you know?
Well, anyway. I mean, many would argue that Ben Stiller is what made Zoolander so funny, and yet he was the main thing that made Zoolander 2 not funny.
I haven't seen it.
Not a good one.
No, I heard that, which is why I haven't seen it. So I'm going to stick with the original.
Fair enough. Don't really want to touch on this for too long, but I did read that Avatar 2 is it's come in at 3 hours and 10 minutes long.
Wow.
That's depressing. It's depressing.
Look, can they just put in like a 5-minute pee break in the middle? Like if they can just put like a little interval just so
I'm sick of long movies, right? I do like a long movie, like don't get me wrong. I love a long movie. Something like Dances with Wolves was 4 hours long. It could be 6 hours long and I wouldn't care. I like it that much. But when you've got something like Avatar that, let's put it, it's not that integral, it's not that important, right? It's fluff. It's 3D, mostly animated fluff. He's already committed to making another 4 or 5 of them. Why do they all have to be 3 hours? Like, you're making that many of them, make them 2 hours at the minimum, you know, Avatar need only be 70 minutes as far as I'm concerned. Just throw away the fat and you've got a pretty good movie.
Why didn't they do like a whole Game of Thrones thing? They could have done like this whole amazing miniseries.
No, because James Cameron does not like television at all. He wants to make theatrical films. And that's good. I think we need people like James Cameron that are going up against your Marvels, up against all that, you know, fucking Star Wars stuff and saying, hey, there's more to cinema than just those properties, right? And so James Cameron is pioneering new technology for the big screen, and that should be something we get behind and get really excited about. However, don't overindulge and keep it short. Stick to the Hitchcock principle, because he always said a movie should never be longer than the average human's ability to hold their bladder, right? Yeah.
Well, I just say.
Yep, exactly right.
Give me a pee break.
Exactly right.
Give us a pee break and that's fine. I don't care. But 3 hours and 10 minutes is a long time to especially a mother of 3 to not.
And I don't think it's like we haven't got the patience to watch something that long because we binge stuff all the time, right? It's our ability to sit in a cinema for that amount of time, like you said, without a piss break. And when movies were long in the old days, we had intermissions. These don't have intermissions.
Yeah.
So
it's a problem for that reason, for sure.
Yeah.
I personally don't have problems with long movies. I much prefer them. Actually, I think I quite like them. But I have to be watching that at home because I need to be able to pause it to go to the loo and get a snack. And
once again, no problem with long movies. Enjoy most of them. But Ben and I have this conversation on the podcast a lot, is that most movies that are long don't need to be, and 70 to 90 minutes is the ideal length of time for a feature film, because you take those long movies and strip away the fat, they are only 70 minutes long. Like, you get rid of the bullshit and you got something really amazing. But anyway, we are almost halfway through. So in fact, we are well and truly halfway through because the clock is 5 minutes out, and may as well just move on to...
It's the spooky season and it's messing with your clock.
I don't care how long this goes for. I'm having fun. So let's just play some games. What games did you come prepared with?
All right. So I got true or false. I've got some movie opposites. I've got some would you rathers, and I've got some whisper titles.
Oh, don't like
what
the
would
whisper
you
ones.
prefer?
The whisper ones make me feel... The whisper ones make me feel grotty. Are they the ones where we do this? Maybe out of desperation, if we've run out of things to talk about, which we won't, we'll shelve that one. Sorry, Owen. It's Owen's idea. Number one.
We tried it.
Yeah. The concept's great, but I haven't got one of those microphones that you tap and they go on and off.
Oh,
yeah, because
you should
Chad,
get one of
I think they're HyperX. Chad from the Bonehead Weekly podcast, whenever he talks, he goes like that first, and then when you don't want to be heard and you can sneeze and fart and all that, just do that.
I need that because I need to sneeze and fart all the time. So that would be perfect. We should both get one of those.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great. We can both sneeze and fart.
I mean, I do anyway, but
just go with whatever you've got there and you want to go with first, and I'll sort of play along.
All right, should we do some would you rathers? I like would you rathers.
I've only got 3, so yeah, let's start with those. Do you want to take?
Well, I've got a few. I tried to make them spooky.
Oh, actually, one of them's from last week. I'll get rid of that. I love the spookiness of it, so go for it.
All right, cool. Would you rather live the rest of your life as a vampire or a werewolf?
Vampire.
Any reason why?
Well, immortal to begin with. I like the idea of that.
Good point. Good point.
I think it would be less brutal on the body.
Yeah, true.
Werewolves go through the transformation once a month, and
But do they go through the transformation once when it's painful, and then they just kind of get used to it and it's easy?
Well, most werewolf lore, it's painful every time.
Painful every time. Okay. But how would you go only being able to come out at nighttime?
I live by the night anyway. It wouldn't bother me at all.
Just the human version of a vampire.
It depends on what vampires we're talking, because, if we're a Stephanie Meyer vampire, then we just sparkle.
You sparkle anyway, Glenn.
No, I've put makeup on to cover that. That was a good one. But yeah, vampire. I don't like the idea of drinking blood, but I think if you're a vampire, you'd enjoy it. So
fair enough.
This
All
is
right, next one.
Are we taking in turns, or are you going through?
Oh no, you go. Yeah.
All right. Well, this one's just a really basic one. One that I think you might struggle with. So, would you rather chocolate or coffee?
Coffee.
Really? That was easy.
Yeah. No, it's like, that's a hard one, but I 100% cannot live without coffee. It's 90% of what runs through my veins.
Excellent. See, I find that odd. Like, this is a conversation for off the microphone, but I'll say it anyway, because my wife is exactly the same, right? She just can't live without coffee, and yet I'm pretty sure, just like you, she drinks it with mostly 80% milk. Are you latte? Do you do latte?
No, I'm a cat girl. Cup of Chino, I am. Just
as bad. It's mostly froth and milk.
A lot of foam. Yeah.
I find it it's a personal preference, obviously, but I find it odd when people love coffee to the point that they say it's their fucking livelihood, their lifeblood and all that, and yet they don't drink it black.
I can drink it black. I just prefer it with a little bit of milk because it's easier to just drink rather than sipping it.
Well, there
But
you
I
go.
always double shot it, always.
Well, there you go. You said you can drink it black, and therefore you're better than my wife. So
I'm not going to challenge her. Um, she wins always, but I can drink it black. I just choose not to.
Fair enough. All right.
All right. Would you rather spend a night in a haunted house or in a haunted graveyard?
I've done both. If you believe in haunted,
Really?
well,
I
yeah,
do.
I've got a lot of friends into the paranormal. I'm not a paranormal person at all. Like, I'm just, call me an open-minded skeptic. Don't really care for it. But one of my good friends is Beth Darlington, and she runs All Access Paranormal, which is a big international ghost hunting thing. And many times
Nice.
I've been with her into haunted asylums and spent the night, and I took my wife to the Ararat Asylum with this woman for a night, and Mel didn't last 5 minutes. She was fucking out
I
of
wouldn't
there.
either.
And
Yeah,
so
I wouldn't
the deal was like, you're out of there, but I'm going to stay behind with the rest of the group and just stick this out. But she was so freaked out that I got those text messages like, "No, you need to come out. You need to come out." It's like, so I had to leave, and that was disappointing. But I've done other ones without her, and they're fantastic.
Yes, yeah, I couldn't do stuff like that because I just the same reason I can't watch horror movies. It would be too real for me. Because I've had um like that thing where a lot of people don't believe me, but I've had ghosts in my house. I don't know if it was a ghost. I don't know what it was. I woke up in the middle of the night to a figure at the end of my bed. I kept staring at it, waiting for my eyes to adjust. It wouldn't leave. I rubbed my eyes, wouldn't leave. It was a man standing at the end of my bed. I turned on the light, nothing was there.
Yeah.
There was something at my bed.
Hey,
100%.
I believe that. That's why I call myself an open-minded skeptic, right? Because I think pretty much everything, and this is the interesting thing. I'm going to give her a plug. So Beth Darlington, her philosophy on this stuff is everything is science-based, right? So all of her ghost hunting and paranormal, she debunks everything that could possibly be science, right? So if there is a scientific explanation behind what you're talking about, she will get to the root of that first. And then if you cannot explain anything at all without any, shred of doubt, then it's paranormal, right? So I totally believe with you. If you believe your story, if you don't have any explanation whatsoever, and there was something at the end of your bed, then I believe that because I'm open to the possibility.
Yeah, it was freaky, but yeah.
I lived
Good.
across the road from the mental ward of a hospital, and there was a man at the end of the bed of my next door neighbor one night because he broke out from the mental ward. Yeah,
Stop it.
it's true.
Stop it.
And true story, another one actually had escaped from that ward and crawled into the roof of our house and set our house on fire.
Stop. How have you not written a horror movie about this shit?
Well, I don't know. Anyway.
You should do that. You should do that.
They've done it many times.
All right. You want to go?
Sure. Would you rather attend the world premiere of Star Wars in 1977 or attend the world premiere of Psycho in 1960? Now, I think that's one to think about because both are very pivotal moments in cinema history.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to choose Star Wars.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're pretending to think. You're sitting there going,
I was pretending to contemplate it wasn't hard Star Wars.
The reason I say this, because obviously Star Wars is such a huge legacy on pop culture, right? It would be amazing to be there at that point in time. However, when Psycho hit cinemas, it was unlike anything that had ever been seen before, right? So it was the first horror movie
100%.
where the monster wasn't a universal monster like Frankenstein or Dracula. It was the first person next door horror, right? That it could be the guy around the corner. And they not locked, but they forbid entrance to the cinema once the movie started. So like once if you got there 5 minutes late, you couldn't go in. This was an important movie that broke all the rules. So I would choose Psycho just for the being able to witness something for the first time and be so shocked by it because you hadn't ever seen anything like it.
Yeah. But you could argue that for Star Wars as well, in terms of the technology that they
You
used for the
could.
special effects, all that kind of stuff.
You totally
Imagine
could.
never having any of that, no
Yeah.
Marvel, nothing, and seeing that on the screen for the first time and bringing all that vastness of outer space
Yeah.
right in front of
It
you
would
would have
be
just
yeah, right.
blown
So
your mind.
I agree. It would be a spectacle to behold for sure. However, Star Trek had come first. We already had space exploration, man and land on the moon, like that kind of stuff. Like it was already part of the zeitgeist. But Psycho was unlike anything. No one had dared to make a movie like it.
There you
Anyway,
go.
there we
There
go.
you
Personal
go.
preference, and given you don't like horror, it makes sense.
You knew where I was going with that the entire time.
Well, I was trying to lead you to having a good think about it, and the significance of Psycho. But anyway,
I completely understand the significance, absolutely. But if we're talking about personal preference and what I would rather, that's what I would rather.
there's also the fact that you would have had like Alfred Hitchcock at the premiere, and who doesn't want to be in the presence of Alfred Hitchcock? That'd be incredible.
That's true, but then you've also got George Lucas as well. So
Yeah.
same, right?
Fuck.
Oh God. Oh God, TikTok just ruined me then. Okay, let's just move on before they come for me. All right, this is a little bit different than a would you rather. You got to finish this sentence. All right? On your gravestone, it says, "Here lies Glenn, ... Finish your gravestone."
Oh, that's hard. How do you answer that without any?
Well, you can go serious, you can go
No, I know.
stupid,
No,
you can go funny.
I would definitely go amusing. Like, here lies Glenn, ... See, yeah, I love the old. Have you ever heard of Spike Milligan, the comedian from the prevalent through the '60s? His tombstone epitaph says, "I told you I was sick."
That's really funny.
Yeah. So I'd want to go something along those lines.
Yeah.
Or get off me, because people are probably standing there reading, something like that.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's brilliant. I like
Yeah.
that.
There we go. So
Absolutely.
probably something like that.
Mine would probably say Cleo, sexiest woman alive. Because I'm dead, obviously.
I like it.
All right. Oh, do you have another one that you want to do, or no? Okay. This is just more of a question. Have you ever played with a Ouija board?
Of course. Yes.
You have?
Yep.
Creepy. Did you nothing happened?
No, but Ouija boards are a toy, right? They're made by Hasbro or whatever.
Still creepy. Still
like,
creepy AF.
Even kind of like their origins, like the word Ouija is trademarked to a toy line company.
I don't like it. Would you rather be hunted by the creeper from Jeepers Creepers or Freddy Krueger, that is?
Buh.
I just have to clarify just in case.
Freddie Prinze Jr. Oh no.
Oh no, I'm so scared. Don't chase me.
Fucking hell. Probably Freddy Krueger.
Yeah?
He's fun.
You just want to be able to go to sleep.
Yeah, but he's fun.
I quite enjoy sleep, so yeah. And that's true. So does I don't think I've ever seen Nightmare on Elm Street. Actually, I think I might have, but I don't remember it whatsoever. Does he give up at all if he can't, or once he sets his sights on you, that's what it is, basically?
Yeah, it's a tricky one to describe, but yeah, no, he doesn't give up. Like he's just, well, he is like a child molester. Like that's his origin. And,
oh God.
But all the parents of the town lynched him, put him in the furnace and burnt him to death. That's why he's scarred.
Oh my God.
Right? So he comes back to avenge his own death by killing the children of those parents. Right?
Oh my God.
Yes. So like your Johnny Depp and your Heather Langenkamp in the original, and they are the children of the parents that killed Freddy Krueger. Right? So Freddy Krueger comes back to avenge them. He's like a demon, and he gets them through their dreams. He can't attack them in the real world until later on in sequels where he has figured out a loophole to come into the real world. Or actually, no, it is in the first one where Nancy discovers that if she can tangibly grab hold of him in a dream and wake up, she can bring him out.
Ooh, creepy.
It's great. It's great. Like I would say Nightmare on Elm Street original top 5 horror films of all time. It's just a masterpiece. And the sequels are good. Like they are good sequels all the way to the end.
Is that the original one with J Depp? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
plays Glenn.
Aw.
Yeah. And he dies the most magnificently gruesome death.
Tell me.
Well, he's on his bed. He's promised his girlfriend Nancy he would stay awake so that she can get some sleep, and if there's any restlessness, he can bring her out of it. But he falls asleep, right? And he falls asleep on his bed with like a portable television on his lap, because back then 80s kids had portable televisions and his big headphones, right? And he's laying there on his bed and falls asleep. And then Freddy Krueger's arms come out of the bed, grab him, and suck him into the mattress, right? So he gets sucked into the mattress, but then this massive cascade waterfall sort of bellow of blood comes pouring out of the bed and then hits the ceiling, and gravity loses itself and it just sort of floats on the roof and comes down the walls, and it's just like a visceral nightmarish masterpiece.
Wow.
It's good
That
shit.
actually sounds pretty good.
It's really good shit. Like the original Nightmare on Elm Street, very scary, but just a masterclass in horror and craftsmanship of like, production design, and they're all like that, because then once you do the first one, the rest of them have to be very creative, inventive to sort of up the ante.
Right.
You got,
Yeah.
and like I think number 3 is fantastic because you got the Dream Warriors, which are this band of kids in a mental asylum that he's tormenting, and they have to use their gifts because they're all a bit autistic or whatever. We'd call them autistic now, but back then they were just weird, and they have to tap into their whatever hidden skill they've got to outsmart him. It's just good stuff.
Wow. Interesting.
I get very excited about
Give me
Nightmare on Elm
some
Street.
food for thought, that one, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like I have seen it, but then I don't remember it whatsoever. So I don't know if I'm thinking of something completely
It's just
different.
fun. It's just fun. Like the whole series is fun, and they get hokier as they go on. But you've got Robert Englund playing Freddy Krueger in every single one of them, and he's just having the time of his life.
Yeah, of course he is.
And you got to remember, in the 80s too, it was so much fun that even though these are R-rated horror films, kids loved it. And you get show bags at the Melbourne show with Freddy Krueger gloves and hats. Imagine now if kids could get a show bag with, I don't know, Saw, something R-rated,
It's
right?
some Dharma glasses.
We just would not allow it, right? We just would not allow it. But back then, like every kid wanted a Freddy Krueger glove, wanted a hat. It was just what you did.
That's cool. The PC police came and ruined all the fun for the kids.
Same with Rambo. Like every kid wanted a Rambo show bag, and they had machetes and they had big knives and machine guns in them. They're fucking awesome.
And it takes one to ruin them for everyone.
That's right. We are way over time.
Are we?
You can keep going if you want, but whatever.
Do you want me to do my true or false, because it's all like Halloween themed?
May as well. I'll save mine for next week, so I don't have to do any work. And
right.
And yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, obviously this week's theme is Halloween or horror themed for Halloween. My true or false edition. All right.
Yeah.
So get the timer going in 3, 2, 1. In the movie Saw, the killer's name is Jigsaw. True or false?
True.
17 Elm Street.
Sorry. Go. Okay, keep going. I'll come back to that.
17 Elm Street is the original dress for Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, son of a bitch. I'm going to say false.
What movie coined this phrase? Do you like horror movies?
Scream.
House of Wax remake stars Paris Hilton. Truth or false?
True.
The mask Michael Myers wears is molded off whose famous face?
William Shatner.
2017 remake of It is Stephen King's highest grossing film adaptation.
Oh, that's hard. I'm going to say true. I'm skeptical on that.
Camp Lake USA is the name of the camp where Jason Voorhees drowns in the Friday the 13th series.
False.
America's first horror film of the 20th century was Dracula, starring Bela Lugosi.
Oh. American as opposed to European. Fuck. I'm gonna tentatively say false.
All right, that's it.
Now, some of those weren't even true or false. You
No,
actually
I know.
okay.
I just
What?
I just realized that.
Right, let's run through them.
All right. In the movie Saw, the killer's name is Jigsaw.
Well, yes and no. His name's John Kramer, but he goes by the handle Jigsaw.
Yeah. So basically,
Okay.
I just wrote true. So you got that one right.
All right, sweet.
17 Elm Street is the original address for Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street. You said false, yeah?
Tentatively, yeah.
Yeah, that is true. It's false.
Yeah.
It's 1428 Elm Street. So there you go.
Yep.
The answer was Scream for do you like horror movies? Yes, which is not a true or false question. I understand that. Now let's move on. Paris Hilton did star in The House of Wax. She starred in a horror movie?
Yes, and her death in that is hilarious.
Really?
She gets like this pole to the face, right? But it's kind of done in a way that takes the piss out of her One Night in Paris sex video.
Oh no.
She kind of almost deep throats a pole the way she deep throated a dude. Anyway, and I bet she wasn't even smart enough to pick up on that.
She's actually quite a smart person if you listen to her. Well, I mean,
I don't think she
maybe
is.
not smart, maybe sort of she's become a little bit more switched on to what she actually is. She's trying to actually portray that the Paris Hilton that you saw in like
was
the life was a character. I don't know if that's true or not, but she says it fairly convincingly. So
she has a lot to answer for about the way the youth of today behave.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes, William Shatner is the molded face of Michael Myers. 2017 remake of It is Stephen King's highest grossing film adaptation. True.
Okay, cool.
That is true. Yes.
Which one? Which one? Part 1 or 2?
Part 1.
Okay. Did you say that?
Yep.
Okay.
You are right. It is not Camp Lake USA. For bonus
Camp
points,
Crystal.
do you remember what it?
Camp Crystal Lake.
Yes, good. And yes, it is true. Dracula is the first America's horror.
So, is that 1929?
1931. However, it is commonly thought that Frankenstein is the first one. However, Dracula came out in the February and Frankenstein came out in the November of that year. So technically, Dracula was first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a bit skeptical about that. I know they are very, very early examples, but I just feel like there were more that just weren't mainstream at that time. Because Europe had already done, like in the 1920s, Hacks and Witchcraft Through the Ages, Nosferatu, which is their version of Dracula. And I reckon there was another American one to copycat those before the Universal Monsters came along. But
you reckon? Oh.
But I reckon I'm gonna concede it though, because you've read into that and you've got it in front of you. Just reckon there's others.
They could be right. If you find out, let me know. But as far as I could sort of see, it was like those were the two kind of OG that kind of spurred things.
We'll let TikTok answer
at least in American sort of cinema. But I am 100% happy to be wrong as well.
Let's let TikTok have the final word on that.
TikTok will tell me, yes.
Lord knows they like to let us know, and Lord knows there's some fucking stupid comments out there on TikTok. Jesus Christ, have you read them on ours?
No.
Like on our videos? Fuck me dead. Man, talk about semantics and fucking dickheads trying to fucking wave their cock in the air. I'll tell you.
Hey, you have a cock, wave it. That's what I say.
It's not allowed to on TikTok.
Ah, well, there's ways around everything.
You're welcome, people. This is an extended episode of Up Late with Glenn and Chloe. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's all my fault for not hitting
I'm going to take full advantage of the makeup, so you know.
I've got look. I take this the right way. I've enjoyed looking at you tonight. It's been great.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, it's tickled me pink. So that doesn't sound right either. Let's just leave it there. And we'll
not supposed to do that on TikTok, Glenn.
We'll be back next week. Not made up.
Wow, maybe.
It's nearly Christmas time. We'll have to start getting festive.
True. I can get creative. It's fine.